Is it visible? Are you able to see the PPT?
Yes, sir.
So we start with the another unit number 3, that is financial roadmap. While starting an enterprise, the entrepreneur has to think about the financial plan, financial roadmap, how he is going to plan for finance or capital during his journey on business. Yes, this financial roadmap, having a financial roadmap is a very important thing for an entrepreneur. In this unit number 3, what we are going to discuss is the planning, budgeting, developing a financial roadmap, and financial statements, what are the different components of financial statements, how to budget for startup success, books, tracking, and other resources of funding, income and capital, based on parents, family, the role of government in entrepreneurial development, the various schemes are there, CMDP, CGPLFC, NPDA, Sporty, the role of MLPE in India is that is explained by MLP, PMP, central staff, then crowdfunding, venture capital, private equity, financial mix, and the financial confidence shareholding. The key things we are going to discuss. The developing importance of operational environment, the pitch, and how to prepare for the investor preparation. Elements of the professional pitch that will see the topic that I will discuss in unit number 2. So, to begin with, the planning. Planning is a very important activity while starting an enterprise. Financial plan, having a financial plan is very important. So, the financial plan will be the basis for many other parts of the business plan. Once the financial plan is prepared, then it will also useful for other parts of the business plan. The particular plan designed to meet the financial objectives we have set is important in that it pulls together one common dimension of all the other plans, and that's cash. The features of this financial plan will be the profit forecast, cash flow forecast, projected balance sheet. The financial plan which we are setting should be tailored to meet your individual business needs. Financial plan, each financial plan needs to be tailored or needs to be modified or customized as per the requirement of every business. Every business will have different financial needs. And to do so, it will refer to your particular business circumstances and it will include one of all the range of other financial tools. The different financial tools may be business funding structure, working capital analysis, sales forecast.
सर आवाज बरोबर येत नाही. बॅकग्राऊंडला साऊंड येतोय सर भरपूर. खरखर आवाज येतोय.
Now is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mhm. So every business plan need to be tailored to the business needs. Every business may have different needs, and therefore, according to the business circumstances, you have to include one or all of range of other financial tools. That is different business funding structure, working capital analysis, sales forecast, return achieved on sales, break-even analysis, contribution from production, stock analysis. All these are tools which you have to include to prepare your financial plan. This different forms of analysis will quickly show you that they individually serve different business requirements. You will need to decide which are most relevant to your business situation and from which you will gain most advantage. So all these tools are for different business requirements. As per our business requirement, we have to see to it that which of the tools are more relevant to our circumstances, and then we have to use those financial tools for getting most advantage for preparing our financial plan. And going towards budgeting. What is budgeting? Who will tell me what is budget? Yogesh? What is a budget? Tejas? Shubham? Have you heard of this term budget?
Annual financial planning.
Correct. So it is a estimate of your cost and revenue. What will be your what expenditure you need to do, and what will be the revenue in it. So budgeting, this is a powerful financial tool which is available to all the small business owners. Maintaining a good short-term and long-range financial plan enables you to control cash flow instead of having it control you. So having a financial plan, uh, it may be short run or long range, you can control your cash flows. So developing a financial roadmap for an enterprise. For that, there are different uh, tips or different points we have to remember while developing a financial roadmap. First of all, begin with the end in the mind. Begin with the end in the mind. What you want to achieve, or what is expected out of your business at the end. That you have to begin with the end in the mind. You have to think of what milestone you want to achieve at which point of time, and then accordingly you have to plan your financial roadmap. And for that you have to get specific, identify different benchmarks that you want your company to hit in 6 months, 1 year, or 5 years, or 10 years from the time you start your company. Quantify what it will take to meet these milestones, and what steps you will need to have lined up to get there. Work daily on small steps. So begin in the end of the with the end in the mind. You have to first of all set a benchmark, that is a standard you want to achieve for the different times, 6 months, 1 year, or 5 years, or 10 years from the start of your business. And then quantify how it will take to make this milestone, how you can meet or achieve these milestones, and what steps you need to have to line up to get there. Work daily on small steps, how you can get there, what will be required to get or to achieve those milestones. Then once you have decided what you want to achieve, that is the beginning with the end in the mind. Once you have decided what you want to achieve at the end of certain period, then you have to think of whether you have sufficient cash flow. Mind the gas in your tank. So you have to have cash flow with you so as to achieve all those milestones. Your vision will tell you where you are going. However, your cash flow will determine if you can make it there. So whatever your vision is to reach or to achieve something, to achieve some milestone in a certain period of time. However, your cash flows will tell you or will determine whether you will be able to achieve that or not. So for that you have to calculate all your startup costs and one-time expenses. So startup cost, what will be the total startup cost and one-time expenses that you have to need first of all calculate, and you have to plan twice as you are taking the cost. If you plan for everything to take twice as long and cost twice as much as you think it will, then you are covered. If you don't calculate like that, and if additional cost incurs, then it will be a problem for you. So therefore, document your fixed monthly expenses and estimate your variable ones. What will be your fixed expenses? What will be your variable expenses? And then your sales projections will tell you what income you need to be profitable. How much income is or how much sales will be required so as to become profitable. To figure out where you are break even, create a simple spreadsheet to track all your income versus expenses on a weekly basis. So you have to understand what will be your break even, how much minimum sales you need to achieve so as to recover the cost. And then to do that, you have to track your income versus expenditure on a weekly basis. Week to week, you can observe how much cost and expenses are incurred. Are you getting it? Yogesh, Sanket, any queries till now?
No, sir.
So first of all, you begin with the end in the mind. Secondly, mind the gas in your tank. See to it that you have sufficient cash flows. And look down the road ahead and expect few detours. Detours means some of the problems or some unexpected events which may come along when you during your entrepreneurial journey, and for that you will have to have some additional capital or additional um, additional money you should have so as to cope up with those changes. There will be inevitable bump. That means inevitable, unexpected, or which is uncontrollable events that may require unexpected cost. And you therefore you have to have certain amount of liquid emergency fund of 3 to 6 months as a reserve for slow times and unforeseen complications. So looking down to the road ahead, you have to expect, you have to assume there may be some emergency funds requirements, and you have to have a provision for those unforeseen or unexpected events. And coming to the financial statements are the different collection of summary level reports about an organization's financial results, financial positions, as well as cash flows. These financial statements are useful for different reasons. The reasons may be to determine the ability of business to generate cash and resources that uses the cash, to understand whether business has capability to pay back its debts, to track financial results on trend line, to spot any looming profitability issues. Looming profitability issues means those issues or those circumstances which may decline the which may deteriorate the profitability. And to derive financial ratios from the statements that you can indicate the condition of the business. So these are different uses, or these financial statements will be useful for all these different reasons. And coming to the financial components of the financial statements, the standard contents of financial statements may be the balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flows, and different supplementary notes. The balance sheet shows the entity's assets, liabilities, stockholders' equity as of the report date. It will not show a span of time over a period of time. It will show the assets, liability, and stockholders' equity as on the reporting date. Then income statement is there, which shows the result of entity's operation, financial activities for the reporting period. It includes revenue, expenses, gains, and losses. Then statement of cash flow is there, which shows changes in the entity's cash flow during that particular reporting period. And supplementary notes is another component which include explanation of various activities, additional details of some accounts and other items as mandated by the applicable accounting framework. Different frameworks, maybe GAAP, General Accounting Principles, General Accepted Accounting Principles, and IFRS, that are International Financial Reporting Standards. So all these are different accounting frameworks. So supplementary notes will include all this explanation which is required or which is mandated by all these accounting frameworks. So these are 4 important components of financial statement: balance sheet, income statement, statement of cash flow, and supplementary notes. Going ahead, for success, how do a startup should prepare a budget? How to budget for a startup success? That we have to understand. First is a set budget helps stay focused. So you have to have a set budget. You have to have a budget in place. Calculating every cost in the present as well as future for a startup can be overwhelming, especially when there are unforeseeable expenditures. However, mapping out specific costs, that is setting aside funds for emergencies, is the best approach. So calculating every cost is important. It is in the future as well as for the future. Also, you have to consider unforeseeable expenses, unexpected or uncontrollable circumstances, and for that you have to have emergency funds. It is the exercise of thinking through what will be required before beginning a project, that is counting the cost. So you have to have a set budget considering the present as well as future and certain unexpected assumed circumstances for which you have to have separate emergency funds. So that is the first step, having a set budget. And this set budget is not about estimating only expenses. It can end up in shaping the strategy of the whole company. So having a set budget, it is not only for estimating the expenses. However, it will be useful for shaping the strategy of the whole company. All those different strategies will be dependent on the this budget. There may be staffing, machinery. Entrepreneurs need to estimate their startup budget. For everything, you have to have budget. Having a set budget maintains focus on what or what not to spend, on what to spend and what not to spend. So if you have a budget, then you can decide. You can take decisions on what to spend and what not to spend. Second is adjusting the budget and sticking to it. So a budget cannot be rigid. You will have to modify it, you have to change it as per the circumstances. So because life doesn't allow people to stick to their intended goal, flexibility is the key. Therefore, flexibility is very important. Sometimes startup owners need to readjust their budget more than once. It is also best to readjust focus and keep the budget in mind. So many times, as per the circumstances, you will have to change the budget, readjust the budget as per the circumstances. However, you have to keep on moving ahead with a flexibility and focus on the budget. So creating a startup budget, as we are discussing, it is a dynamic process. It is ever changing. It will change from time to time. That fluctuates as much as the initial goal and the company do. However, readjusting the budget is just as important as sticking to the original plan. Be open to change, but remember to stick to the revamped budget. So you have to always be open for the change. There will be many changes which will come along your entrepreneurial journey. There will be certain unexpected costs. However, you have to stick to the revamped budget, the modified budgets. You have to have a focus on the budget, and then you have to move ahead, having the goals in your mind so as to achieve those goals as per the decided timelines. Avoid a half-built business. So avoid a half-built business, that means running out of funds. Many times the entrepreneur may run out of funds. It is one of the worst repercussions when an entrepreneur doesn't set or stick to his budget. If we do not stick to the budget, this situation may occur, running out of funds. So half-built business are not worth much to the entrepreneur business world. So prioritizing costs helps avoid this doomed scenario. The obvious consequence of failing to make a budget is the increased probability of running out of resources to meet your objective, like ending up with half-built house. So if you do not stick to your budget, this type of scenario you may have to face, like running out of business. And therefore sticking to the budget is very important. Therefore you have to avoid going or avoid varying to the budget. Do not vary the budget often. Do not your cost should not go beyond the budget. You have to see to it that you have to spend as per the whatever budget you have decided, and you can avoid this situation of running out of funds. Then don't dig yourself into a debt hole. So many times if we go beyond your budgets, if the expenses exceed your budget, this type of situation which the entrepreneur have to face. Having an unlimited startup budget may seem like an ingenious idea at the time, but startup owners will dig themselves into a abysmal debt hole in the end. Businesses that set a realistic budget steer clear of that trap. Startup business may flourish with the accruing debt, but success and profitability diminish once that debt needs to be reimbursed. And therefore, calculate the expenses more than once. So, to avoid running into a debt hole, you have to calculate each expense more than once and determine what should be the startup's best, the most realistic budget. It is better to catch costly expenses in the beginning rather than in the end when swimming in the pool of debt. So having a realistic budget is important. The unlimited budget or assigning a budget which is more than what is required, that may bring you into a debt hole. So you will run out of resources, you will run out of money, and that situation you will have to avoid. Therefore the budget need to be realistic. Is it clear till now?
Yes, sir.
Going ahead, we have to understand bootstrapping and alternative sources of funding. So what is a bootstrapping? This concept. Bootstrapping is a concept that means starting with a minimum budget, with your own budget, starting a business with a little capital or formal investment, using your own finances, that is from saving, credit card, loans, or your friends or family. Another another source in bootstrapping is selling your own time or expertise on the side while consulting with while doing consulting jobs. So you can have a consultation to other companies, or you can, if you have expertise, you can sell your time, and through that you can have an income which you can use for funding your startup. Then selling an early product to fund the company development, leveraging other sources of funding, that is there may be government grants, crowdfunding, all these are different sources that you can use. Bootstrapping, this method of using your own resources or starting with a little capital, that is only option for companies that won't grow quickly or provide significant return on investment to investors. So those companies who that won't grow quickly or provide significant return on investment on investors, bootstrapping is the best method. Even companies who will get investment later may need to reach certain milestones or level of traction on their own first. Some entrepreneurs choose to be bootstrapped to maintain control or full ownership of their companies. So by bootstrapping or having your own capital, whatever it may be a small amount of capital which you use for starting your business. So that very small capital also that can help entrepreneur to have a full control over the company. So there will be his own control as he is using his own capital. This bootstrapping also forces you to focus on priorities and leverage what you have. So whatever you have, you can make use of, that is time, expertise there, money, so as to fund your own business. Then the method of crowdfunding, which I think we have discussed this method in earlier sessions also. Crowdfunding is a method wherein this method can help you to raise the capital. This practice of funding a project or venture by raising many small amounts of money from large number of people, typically via internet. So in crowdfunding, the entrepreneur can get the funding or the capital from many large number of people. There may be different internet platforms through which this crowdfunding activity of raising the funds can be conducted to have a capital for your startup. There may be different crowdfunding companies like Indiegogo is there, Kickstarter is there, Plays Music is there, Wepunder is there, Seed Engine is there, Republic is there. So like that, there are different crowdfunding companies which can provide a platform to the entrepreneurs to get capital or to raise finance from large number of people for that particular startup. Another is government grants or subsidy. So public subsidy, it is a public subsidy offered by to a recipient for business or personal purposes. There may be different subsidies which may be provided by government to the business or maybe for the particular individual's purpose. Subsidy is not expected to be paid back. It is not expected that subsidy is to be paid back and may be used for research, business development, education and other endeavors that are anticipated to support a common cause. A grant offering typically includes conditions that must be met, such as reporting performance or results. So when you are trying to make use of these grant subsidies, there may be certain conditions also that you have to fulfill, that is reporting performance or the results from time to time. However, these subsidies are not expected to be paid back. These are subsidies or grants which are being offered by government for different purposes to the startup. Maybe it may be for research, the business development, education or other endeavors for the particular startup. The another source of funding and funding a startup is informal capital, that is friends and family. So this is a very simple, or we can say it is a platform which you can use for raising money, which is easily available. So raising an amount from your family members, friends is a very common to the startups. It is a common form of startups funding out there. Banks and independent investors might not want to risk money on you. Bank or investors, they may not uh, take risk on startups. However, your friends, family, they can help you to raise the funds. Those who are close to you, believe in you, might be willing to take a chance on your fledgling business. Fledgling business means new or startup business where you are experimenting on your startup. So informal capital, friends, family is a easily available and important source for funding to a particular startup. Then going ahead, role of government in entrepreneurial development. So what is the role of government? How government can help enhance the entrepreneurial development? How government, what is the ideal role for the government in enhancing the development of entrepreneurship? The ideal role for the government. So the government has to play a very important role in entrepreneurship development. The entrepreneurship development is very important for country's economic development, and therefore the ideal role of government in helping the country's economy to grow is by enabling different facility or enabling certain what you can say conditions or environment which is conducive for entrepreneurial development. So first is be the enabler and enable the infrastructure, easy taxation, fundraising and research. So government has to play a role of enabling the infrastructure which is important for a startup. Taxation should be made easy so that they can cope up with the newly built businesses. Government can help to raising the fund and then performing certain research. Government can also help attracting investments, having business friendly laws and functional streamlined code systems, and avoiding regulations like licensing requirements that discourage innovation. Many times there may be strict licensing requirements which can discourage innovation. So having a certain minimum licensing requirements or reducing the burden of licensing to the entrepreneurship, so that can help enhancing the entrepreneurial development. Why should government promote entrepreneurship? So different reasons for what the government can government is promoting the entrepreneurship is because first of all the economic development of the country. The government through enhancing the or having an environment which is conducive for entrepreneurial development, it can help heightening the economic development of the country. If the number of entrepreneurs or the startups are more, it can help attain the economic development of the country. Secondly, creating large scale employment opportunities. So by having entrepreneurship, there may be generation of employment opportunities which can help reduce the problem of unemployment. So that is another role, to create employment opportunities. Thirdly, to promote balanced regional development. So to have equality in the development of various regions in terms of economy, this entrepreneurship development or boosting the entrepreneurial development or helping entrepreneurs develop their industries in underdeveloped areas, that can help promoting the balanced regional development. Then reduce concentration of economic power. Economic power concentration in certain areas, that concentration of economic power can be reduced by having industries in different regions. So entrepreneurial development can help in many dimensions or many ways for the development of the country, and therefore government plays a role to promote entrepreneurship. The main reasons are attainment of economic development of the country, creating large scale employment opportunities, promoting the balanced regional development, and reduce the concentration of economic power. Isn't it? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Going ahead, we will have to discuss different schemes like PMEGP is there, CGTMSE, MPDA, Spurti. These are different schemes which are promoted by government for the entrepreneurial development to have an environment wherein the entrepreneurs can come forward to take the benefit of different schemes which are promoted by government for the development of entrepreneurship, which in turn can help development of the country. So these schemes which are promoted by government, we will be discussing. The first scheme which is there is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, which is in short is called as PMEGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. This scheme, PMEGP, for boosting the entrepreneurship, this is a type of a credit linked subsidy scheme. So it is a credit linked subsidy scheme. That means that the credit linked means the amount of loan which the entrepreneur requires. So on the basis of amount of loan which the entrepreneur requires, on the basis of that the subsidies will be provided to that particular entrepreneur. So it is credit linked subsidy scheme wherein it is focusing not only the lower income group, also to the middle income group people. And it is credit linked means the amount of loan, how much loan that particular individual that entrepreneur is taking for his business. So on the basis of that the subsidy is being provided. This scheme of PMEGP, that is Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, is being implemented through KVIC. KVIC means Khadi and Village Industries Commission, and DIC, that is District Industrial Centers. This PMEGP helps in establishing new self-employment ventures or projects and micro enterprises. The objective of this scheme is to bring together rural as well as urban artisans. Artisans are different skilled workers who have different skills and they make different products mostly with the help of hands. So these artisans and unemployed youth above the age of 18 years and give them opportunities to start their own businesses, thereby preventing migration. So this PMEGP, the objective of this scheme is to mainly help the rural as well as urban artisans and unemployed youth, that those are above the age of 18 years, and give them opportunities so that they can start their own businesses, and this can help the reduction of migration. Through this scheme, assistance of up to 25 lakhs for manufacturing enterprise and 10 lakhs for service sectors can be provided. During the year of 2015 to 16, approximately 2 lakh employments were generated and rupees 631 crores of subsidy was utilized by entrepreneurs. So this is a scheme mainly for the young entrepreneurs in urban as well as rural areas, the artisans, to make them or to provide them opportunity to for the same employment. And these schemes helps them to start the business with loan or subsidy which can be provided to these businesses so that they can start their own business. So the another scheme is CGT MSC. CGT MSC, that is Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. CGT MSC, the long form of CGT MSC is Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. This is a Credit Guarantee Fund Trust which has came into force from 1st August 2000. Through this scheme, mainly the lenders or those people who are providing the loan to the young entrepreneurs, that those lenders are being protected or covered from losses. And with that, the lenders can provide capital to the entrepreneurs without having a risk. So that is the benefit of this scheme, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Availability of bank credit without the hassles of collaterals, that is the securities which we have to keep for against the loan, or third party guarantees, would be a major source of support to the first generation entrepreneurs to realize their dream of setting up a unit of their own micro and small enterprise. So every entrepreneur, his dream is to have a startup or medium or small scale enterprises, and for that availability of bank credit and without any hassles or third party guarantee, that can help entrepreneur to realize or to make the dream come into reality. And therefore MSME, medium and Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India has launched this credit guarantee scheme. This is a CGTMSC is a credit guarantee scheme which has been launched by government, Ministry of Small and Medium Scale Enterprises, so as to strengthen credit delivery system and facilitate flow of credit to MSC sector. So it has been launched by government, MSME, that is medium and small, Ministry of Small and Medium Industry Enterprises, so as to strengthen the system through credit guarantee scheme. This CGTMSC, Credit Guarantee Trust Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, it was being set up by Government of India and SIDBI. SIDBI is the another Small Industries Development Bank of India. So with the help of this Government of India and SIDBI, it was being set up for having a guarantee or covering the risk to the lenders. Going ahead in CGTMSC itself, main objective of this credit guarantee scheme, that is CGTMSC, main objective is that the lender should give importance to project viability and secure the credit facility purely on the primary security of the assets financed. So the lenders who are providing money to the enterprises, they need to give importance to the project viability while providing the loan to the entrepreneurs. They need to see to it that the viability of the project and secure the credit facility purely on the primary security of the assets financed. The credit guarantee scheme seeks to reassure the lender that in the event of MSC unit which has availed collateral-free credit facilities and fails to discharge its liabilities to the lender. So if the entrepreneur fails to pay back the loan, the guarantee trust would make good the loss incurred by the lender up to 50%, 75%, 80% or 85% of the credit facility. So through this CGTMSE, the government is covering the lender who is providing money to the entrepreneurs up to 85%, 50%, 75%, 80%, or maybe to 85% of the credit facilities. So if the entrepreneur fails to discharge his liabilities or pay back the loans, the government with this scheme through CGTMSE can help the lenders for covering that risk. So this CGTMSE, that is Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, so that can help the lenders to provide collateral free or hassles free loan to the entrepreneurs and thereby boosting the entrepreneurial development. That is CGTMSE, Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Isn't it? Any query till now? Any query till now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Achha. So what we'll do is,
No, sir.
what we will stop here for today and we'll meet in the another session. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.